So nice to listen to that rain falling out there this morning. Of course, we do have a WRAL weather alert day. It is going to be a messy commute. We'll walk you through it.
Tracking road conditions, we have the WRAL storm tracker out this morning and give you a live look at what to expect. Right now on I-40 West, head toward Raleigh. We'll get you a closer look at the conditions here on WRAL News. Plus, school data breach. Information about students and teachers from all over, including North Carolina, potentially exposed. The questions we have this morning about how your child may have been affected. Well, thanks for joining us this morning, dark and early at 4:30 on your Thursday. I know WRAL News. I'm Chris Lovingood. You heard the guitar riff. It is a WRAL weather alert day, and this is why we have meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner very closely watching the dual Doppler 5000 radar. It's very active behind you there, Elizabeth.
It is lots and lots of rain out there, especially from Raleigh southward. It's a little patchier as you head north, and notice a little bit of a break back across the Triad, but there's plenty more rain coming our way. It is likely to be with us all morning long, at least on and off. We zoom in a little bit steadier from Raleigh down toward Dunn and Fayetteville, as well as Smithfield, but right around Durham, it's begun to ease up a little bit. And then again, you can see north and west of, say, Sanford, there's a little bit more of a break, but plenty more rain coming. There's been severe weather down to the south, but we're not likely to see any of that here in North Carolina. This low will ride along our very slow moving front and keep that rain going at least on and off all the way up through lunchtime. This is a look at Futurecast, and you can see it rain with us here at 7 a.m., 9 a.m., and at 10 a.m. And then once we get to noon, it starts to pull away and it will gradually taper off into the afternoon. So definitely a morning event for us. It does look like by the time we get to the evening commute tonight, it is mainly over. It's making for wet conditions. We take a live look at our Jimmy V camera. You can see how wet it is here on Fayetteville Street. Temperatures are mild at 65, and we won't warm up much from where we are right now. As a matter of fact, look how temperatures fall as we head into the afternoon instead of climbing, looking at around 60 degrees by 3 or 4 o'clock. There is more rain in our forecast. Both Saturday and Sunday are trending a little wetter. We'll look at that coming up.
All right, sounds good, Elizabeth. We'll come back for your full forecast in just a bit. Do want to get you a live look outside right now at I-440 at New Bern Avenue in Raleigh, and you'll see right there. It looks like traffic's starting to go a bit, but nothing too crazy as we begin this Thursday, though. Things will, of course, increase in traffic-wise as the morning progresses. Kirsten Clark is on the road this morning in the WRAL Storm Tracker. Kirsten, you're on I-40 West, headed toward the airport. What are conditions like where you are right now?
Yes, Chris, as you mentioned, on I-40 West this morning. And speaking of traffic, it is light, but we are seeing rain coming down pretty consistently. In just the last couple seconds here, actually, the rain lightened up. So I'm going to give you a look here at what we're seeing on the roads. We have our windshield wipers going this morning just because of visibility. There are some issues. We are getting some of that spray from cars in front of us. And just looking at the roads, from the rain that we saw yesterday, the roads were already wet. And because of the rain this morning, we are starting to see some light ponding in the area. So it is slick. So if you're heading out this morning, you're just going to want to take your time, take it slow. Anytime you're dealing with rain, there's an increased risk for crashes. So just take your time out here. But we're going to continue driving, giving you a live look at what we're seeing out here on the roads, and we'll keep you updated throughout the morning. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, definitely don't have to be anywhere that bad. Slow down. All right, thank you, Kirsten. 3 people are hurt after a stabbing south of downtown Raleigh. The WRAL breaking news tracker was there as police investigated that scene on South Wilmington Street, and this was around 10:30 last night. Police say there was an argument at an encampment where people without homes live, and that's when someone pulled a knife. All 3 people who were stabbed are expected to recover, and police say no one is in custody. This morning, traffic is back to normal in Cary after a train slammed into a trailer on the tracks. Maynard Road was closed at East Chatham Street for more than 7 hours because of this. This video behind me shows the moments after impact. The crash happened just after 2 p.m. and Cary police say a construction trailer became detached from a truck and was sitting on the tracks when it was hit. 46 passengers were aboard the Amtrak train and 6 of them were treated for minor injuries. We did speak with one of the passengers about what they saw.
We heard a break, we saw some smoke, and then there was a thud. So I think most people were just worried to see if, everybody was okay. Pretty much everybody was in shock. We couldn't believe we were at our last stop. We were almost at the last stop.
And we are working to learn whether the driver whose trailer was hit will face charges in this. This morning, a worldwide data breach affecting students and teachers' information in school districts across North Carolina, including in Wake County. Let's bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She joins us live from the State Department of Public Instruction. Kelsey, cybersecurity experts say now is the time for parents to talk about safety on the internet with their children.
Yes, Chris, conversations with your kids about keeping your passwords safe is incredibly important, especially in light of this hack. But this morning, we're asking the Department of Public Instruction several questions after the statewide learning management system, Canvas, was compromised. So here's what we're asking. Questions like, when did the state learn of this hack? Are all districts affected? And how are they investigating going forward? The company behind Canvas Instructure says there is no evidence passwords, dates of birth, government identifiers, or financial information was taken. Other identifying information was, though, including names, email addresses, student ID numbers, and user messages. Instructure says the incident happened between April 25th and April 30th, and it did affect Wake County schools.
The immediate focus right now should be to identify exactly what data was accessed and then monitoring that data for phishing and fraud attempts going forward. And then we should definitely be enforcing multi-factor authentication everywhere possible and reviewing vendor access, especially when we're talking about third-party risk.
So make sure to go to WRAL.com's homepage to find out how you can protect your students' data while this hack is being investigated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
President Donald Trump says that he is optimistic there could be a deal with Iran soon, and that optimism is sending stocks going up and oil prices plummeting. Now, that's despite a U.S. fighter jet firing at an Iranian tanker yesterday and disabling it. The Pentagon says the tanker ignored warnings and attempted to bypass the U.S. blockade at the Strait of Hormuz. President Donald Trump says there is no deadline, though, for Iran to respond to the latest peace proposal. That would declare an end to the war and trigger a 30-day period resolving nuclear demands, unfreezing Iranian assets, and negotiating security in the Strait. President Trump claims Iran agreed to his chief demand of not having a nuclear weapon. And though a possible deal with Iran is bringing down oil prices, we haven't seen much change at gas stations. In fact, according to AAA this morning, the national average is $4.56. North Carolina's average, $4.22. Well, today, the woman accused of murdering two of her adopted children will be back in court for a major decision. In late March, prosecutors filed a motion making it clear they intend to seek the death penalty in this case against Avante Devon. She's expected in a Cumberland County courtroom today for a judge to hear the reasons prosecutors believe this case rises to the severity of a capital offense. The judge will then decide whether that penalty can be sought. This is what's called a Rule 24 hearing. Devon was arrested in 2024, and she is charged with murdering her adopted children, Blake and London. She's expected to go on trial next year. In fact, this case was the focus of a WRAL documentary, Broken, Foster Care in North Carolina. You can actually watch that on the WRAL YouTube channel. Tonight, we will get a clearer picture of plans to close one or more of Chapel Hill Carborough elementary schools. District leaders have narrowed the list of possible school closures to Ephesus Elementary School, Glenwood Elementary School, and Sewell Elementary School. Those are some of the oldest schools in the district, in fact. Tonight, staff members will break down impacts to transportation, costs, and savings, and the school board is considering closing schools because of dropping enrollment and budget pressures.
Our superintendent and others have often referred to where we are right now as not a crisis, but a crossroads, meaning we're approaching this issue early enough that we can make decisions on our own terms and on our own timeline to position ourselves for success in the future.
And just so you know, tonight's meeting opens to the public at 7 p.m. and a final vote is not expected until next month. Some people in Cumberland County are also opposing proposed school closures there. District leaders are considering closing Manchester and J.W. Kuhn elementary schools. Students would be reassigned next year, but the board has not come to a final decision. North Carolina school systems could open up for 4 more virtual schools. The State Board of Education is scheduled to vote on whether to add them today. There has, though, been some hesitation. Some board members are skeptical of the virtual schools, though dozens were approved in the past. State leaders plan to give the board more information today on the possible new schools and the standards they are expected to meet. So there's this bill that could stop some North Carolina counties from raising property taxes, and it's headed to the House. The state Senate gave its final approval yesterday, and that bill would block 9 counties, including Harnett, from applying new appraisals conducted this year to property tax rates. Republicans say the bill provides relief to squeezed homeowners, and Democrats argue it keeps local governments from being able to fund critical services such as schools. A new bill could put restrictions on how the city of Rocky Mount spends its money. It would block the city from using revenue from its electric system to fund other projects. Bill sponsors say that Rocky Mount's current budget crisis shows the city has not always managed its money well, and that is why safeguards are needed. A state audit outlined years of money mismanagement that led to job cuts and higher utility rates. The city is working with the state on getting out of a multi-million-dollar hole. All right, tonight the Carolina Hurricanes are back on the ice looking to keep their undefeated start to the playoffs going. Can they do it? We'll see. They'll be in Philadelphia for Game 3 of their series against the Flyers. The Canes are up 2-0 in the series after winning Games 1 and Game 2 at Lenovo Center. They have won all 6 games they've played so far in the postseason. Tonight's game gets started at 8 p.m. Your time this Thursday morning is 4:40. E-bike warning. They are growing in popularity, and this is forcing local city and town leaders to address safety. What parents should know before they buy one. Plus, speeding crackdown. New technology could stop dangerous drivers from speeding, which is why ahead at 5, you'll learn how it works and why state lawmakers are pushing for this.
Scattered showers will affect your commute this morning. We'll take a look at the radar and talk about how long we'll see rain through the day. 4:44 today is a WRAL weather alert day for the rain that we're seeing this morning. Already in the last 24 hours, we've seen some significant rainfall, which is wonderful news. I'm going to walk you through what we'll see. Definitely showers on and off all the way through lunchtime, and we'll talk about what the effects of that will be. You can see our best chance could be right even just before lunchtime, and then we'll see that rain tapering off during the afternoon. But it does make for a messy commute, so we're going to help you through that. We have Storm Tracker out looking at the conditions, and you can see here from the Garner Tower camera a few lights showing, but we are definitely socked in, and that rain is coming down. 65 in Raleigh, 63 in Roanoke Rapids, 66 in Goldsboro. From here, our temperatures may just drop. Look at this. We could drop down to near 60 by the afternoon. The best chance of rain will happen this morning, and again, we'll walk you through the timeline on Futurecast coming up.
That rain, much needed right now. All right, thanks, Elizabeth. New this morning, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani is no longer in the ICU. The 81-year-old is being treated for pneumonia at a Florida hospital. He was diagnosed with restrictive airway disease after the September 11th attacks, and a spokesperson says that he expects Giuliani to make a full recovery. Hillsborough police need your help to find a man accused of robbing a bank. Let me show you who they're looking for. The robbery happened around 9 yesterday morning, and this was at the First National Bank on South Churton Street. You can see these images right here. Police say the man walked in, demanded money from the teller, and then left with cash, but no one was injured. The State House could vote on a bill as early as today to keep college athletes' deals private. This bill would allow UNC system universities to choose to not reveal which programs are getting the money or how much they are sharing in total. In fact, lawmakers say it's needed to help the state's public schools compete against other schools looking to take away their top talent. Wake County parents and law enforcement are raising safety concerns about e-bikes, and they're growing pretty popular. They say confusion over the difference between an e-bike and an e-motorcycle, this is causing a problem. In fact, last month, Holly Springs passed an ordinance to crack down on e-bike safety. That goes into effect June 1st. Holly Springs Police Chief Paul Licori says that e-bikes travel less than 20 miles per hour, and they have motors with 750 watts or less. Any vehicle that exceeds those limitations requires either a license and registration to operate. Licori says many parents buying these bikes for their children are not aware of the varying types and what crosses the line into something more powerful.
We're giving younger children, less experienced children, some who have impulsive decision making, a vehicle that can go the speed of a motorcycle.
And as for other places, the mayor of Apex is considering a training course for young riders. In Wake Forest, town leaders updated their regulations in January to ban e-bikes from sidewalks, and they are still allowed in parks and on greenways. And over in Raleigh, e-bike rules align with traditional bike laws. Well, teams are inching closer and closer to fully restoring the Blue Ridge Parkway. Let me show you a photo right here of the work happening to repair roads more than a year and a half after Helene. The National Park Service is hoping to fully restore the popular tourist spot by the end of the year. And this week actually marks National Hurricane Preparedness Week. State leaders are using this as a reminder of the destructions that storms can cause. We saw this firsthand with Helene, and state data shows nearly 2 years after the storm, 97% of public roads are fixed. There are thousands of private roads that still need repair. Helene was the most destructive storm in North Carolina history. In fact, we covered the recovery efforts across western North Carolina in our documentary, Helene, What We Lost, What We Found. You can actually stream that on the WRAL News app and on the WRAL YouTube channel. Elizabeth, I know it's been a bit since Helene, but so many people obviously wanting to get back out there if they haven't had a chance to yet because so many businesses were affected. And it's like, all right, the recovery has been underway. They're welcoming people back. Let's go support Western North Carolina.
Yes, and it's such a great place to be in the summer, so they continue to hope that people will make plans to be there. As you're moving around this morning, you'll notice that we have much needed rain. It's great to see, but the flip side of that is it tends to make for a messy commute, and it may slow you down somewhat going to work this morning. So commute impacts definitely. We're going to see scattered rain on and off through the morning all across our viewing area. Not expecting any severe weather really here, except we do have, I'll show you where we do have a level 1 risk. It's southern part of Sampson County and just the southeastern corner of Cumberland County. But still, I wouldn't expect to see anything widespread here in terms of severe storms. If we saw anything, it would be just some gusty winds that could do some damage. Heaviest rain right now is Johnston County down towards Sampson County. From the Triangle area north and west, we're seeing a little bit of a break, but we have plenty more rain on the way. So, some showers in Sanford, some scattered rain across Wake County right now, but the bulk of it is down to the south. Let's take a look at what's going on out there. We have this slow moving front coming through, and all along this front we have rain that will continue to ride north along it. So again, lots of rain in our forecast all the way through lunchtime or so. Here's 7 o'clock, and you can see plenty of rain in place. There's 9 o'clock, there's 10 o'clock. It just keeps on coming until around noon, and then after that, that should be the end of it. Shouldn't be raining during the evening commute. We'll let you know if that changes for some reason. Here's a look at our potential in the next 7 days. So it's not just today, but over the weekend we'll have a chance of some rain as well. All total, 1.5 to 2 inches. We're holding out big hope for that. You can see the streets are wet here from our Jimmy V camera. 65 is our current temperature. 65 Morrisville, 64 in Garner. This is as warm as it will be all day. Our temperatures will drop to around 60 degrees by the middle of the afternoon. More rain in our forecast. Our chances for rain going up a little bit on Saturday, maybe down a little bit on Sunday. So we'll talk about the timeline for what we could see over the weekend. It does not look like a washout either day. And again, trending a little bit drier on some of the models for Sunday. Looking at more rain Monday and possibly Wednesday. So, Chris, it just keeps coming, which is great.
Just keeps coming, and the roses in everyone's gardens who have them are happy for it. All right, thanks, Elizabeth. No Triple Crown. The winner of the Kentucky Derby will not go for the elusive prize. Why Golden Tempo is not going to run in next week's Preakness Stakes. Plus, new and future projects. A first look at the Legally Blonde prequel and a final season of The Bear coming soon. We'll show you that and more in today's Hollywood Minute. Good morning, Clinton. Did you sleep okay? It's 4:54 right now as you're waking up on this WRAL weather alert day. Don't worry, you're not late for work just yet. You still got some time. All right now we're giving you a first look at Elle Woods as a teenager and one more serving of The Bear. David Daniel had those stories and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
I'm so lucky to have this life. I wouldn't change a thing.
But change is coming. Here's your first look at the Legally Blonde prequel series, Elle. The future Harvard lawyer loses her glam teen life in Bel Air when her family moves to nearly blonde-free Seattle. Elle premieres July 1st on Prime Video. Glenn Close is the latest star to leave her handprints and footprints at the TCL Chinese Theater Courtyard in Hollywood. At age 79, the 8-time Oscar nominee says she's nowhere close to hanging it up.
I still am fascinated and challenged by what it means to be an actor and how to try to interpret what it means to be a human in stories that I think are worthwhile.
I'm fired up, ready to go. No, same.
Showtime! Fans will get one more serving of The Bear. FX has announced the 5th and final season of the award-winning series will debut June 25th, with all 8 episodes available to stream at once on FX and Hulu. Manja, baby. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, there will be no chance for a horse racing Triple Crown winner this year because Kentucky Derby winner Golden Tempo is not going to Baltimore next week for the Preakness. His trainer says they want to give him more rest before the Belmont Stakes in June, and this will be the 6th time since 2018 the Derby winner does not race in the Preakness. Tonight, you can ask your health questions as part of Wake County's maternal and child health program. The county will host an Ask the Doc town hall with a panel of women's health experts. This is happening at 6 p.m. at the Tarboro Road Community Center in Raleigh, and this is part of the county's observance of Women's Health Month. We are just over a month away from Juneteenth. The town of Zebulon is accepting vendors and food trucks for its celebration. The celebration will be on Saturday, June 20th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Zebulon Devil Dog Stadium. But just a heads up for those of you who will operate a food truck, you must complete the food truck interest form. You can find those specific links on the Town of Zebulon's Facebook page. The deadline to apply, though, is on May 29th. Your time this morning is 4:56. Student data exposed. North Carolina schools hit as part of a global security leak. The information that is involved and how to protect your child. Plus, crash on tracks. An Amtrak train slammed into a trailer at a busy Cary intersection. What led to that crash that hurt 6 passengers? Plus, we are giving you a live look at the wet roads here, courtesy of the WRAL Storm Tracker out and about driving around today. Right now, you're getting a live look at I-87 North near Knightdale. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will be back after the break to talk a little bit longer about how the rain lasts.